Welcome to the Unimaginary Friendcast. This is episode 318 of Conversation with Your Best Friends, and we are your beautiful best friends.
I'm Nathan Von Edmondson.
I'm Erin Marie Betty Davis Jr.
And I'm David Monster.com.
And our show, as many of you know, covers a lot of super awesome, neat stuff. However, we're going to divert a little bit this week. Not to say that this isn't super awesome and neat, but it is breaking news that David has had a front row seat to. David, do you want to tease what you're going to talk about today?
It's the raping raper who rapes, the Scientology rapist, the convicted Scientology rapist. And it is kind of a super good thing because this is the first Scientologist who's been convicted. They usually get out of it. They usually snake their way out of it.
We're talking about Danny Masterson?
Danny Masterson, the raping Scientology convicted rapist who rapes.
So can you tease what the episode's about?
Well, it's about how I got dragged into it and how I was more involved than I ever knew, than any of us ever knew.
Ooh, that is a tease if I've ever heard a tease. So before we jump into it, anybody have any news since we last met, which was yesterday? Spoiler alert.
Oh, wait.
What's been going on, guys?
Breaking news. You go first, Nathan.
I don't have any news.
Well, you can talk about how I-95 collapsed, or we had hazardous air quality for the last week where we couldn't go outside and we couldn't breathe. That's what's been going on the East Coast.
Okay, that's
wait. Are you guys part of the smoke thing?
Yeah. We're like front and center, baby.
So it's like, it's really, really, really bad. It's like the worst it's ever been, right? It's the worst it's ever been?
Yeah, you should talk in that mic more, David. That sounds way better.
I'm sorry. It's the worst it's ever been. Tell us about the Canadian smoke storm.
There's really not much to say aside from there's a lot of wildfires and the way the winds were blowing. They blew them all down on the East Coast. And we had some of the worst air quality in the world for a couple days. Like the worst in the world, genuinely. I think that's not an exaggeration. Like on a scale from 1 to 500 is how they measure the air quality. New York hit 484, Philly hit 424. And like just to compare, like an average day in Delhi or Beijing, which has genuinely the worst air quality in the world, is usually like 160, 180. So we're talking like code purple, hazardous, don't go outside or you'll die.
Yeah, pretty much not just sensitive people, but no one should go outside is the recommendation.
Like seal your windows shut, don't turn on your air conditioner, is that kind of.
But on the good side, did it make beautiful and amazing sunsets?
We have so many trees here. We don't really have a view of sunsets, but I think that was a thing.
Yeah, there was a lot of like orange suns and
yeah, it was definitely
the photos, I'm sure.
Very creepy. It smelled very bad. We're on the other side of it, so we're happy that it's over.
I'm sorry. It's weird. How come you guys have such bad air quality over there when we have our smoke storms, when we have our fires, it doesn't get that bad? What's wrong with you guys?
I think it does get that bad. Like it's pretty bad, but it's just not a big thing because you guys just breathe it all the time.
I just want to go on the record of saying that when I was a kid, the air quality in LA was way worse than you guys ever experienced it. Way worse.
I believe it.
So
yeah, you watch
sorry
movies,
to brag.
Watch movies from the 1970s and based in LA, and there'll be a helicopter flyover, and you just can't even see anything.
Ugh.
Welcome to LA.
One thing I do not miss about that city is you come outside and you can't see 4 blocks away because of the haze. This is so gross.
You experienced that when you were here? Yeah. I don't remember that
sometimes
at all.
Sometimes it's pollution and sometimes it's marine layer.
I'm talking about pollution.
You're talking about pollution.
I didn't know we had pollution in LA anymore.
Really?
Wow.
You do. It's just not as bad as it was in the 70s.
Yeah, because it's so like nothing. It's nowhere near as bad.
You don't experience it as badly at the beach. It's probably part of it too.
That is true.
Yeah.
You are
100%. Yeah.
All right.
So the other piece of news. Do you want to do the other piece of news?
We have more news than that.
The I-95 collapsed.
Oh yeah, I-95 collapsed.
So yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
A truck went through an underpass underneath I-95 and caught fire. I don't know how or why, but It was on fire, and I think it was the entire northbound lane, a section just collapsed.
How did the fire cause the collapse?
4 lanes collapsed.
It's pretty crazy. It's
How?
wreaking havoc on our traffic right now. I was just watching the news, and they're trying to give people all the ways to divert you around that, but it's like a huge thoroughway. Like I think they were saying 160,000 people pass through a day, and there's no alternative route that's parallel, so you can only go around and up and down. And
like you just think of how easily you can mess up a city by taking out a few roads,
a bridge, or
just gosh, can you imagine if Ben Franklin Bridge was taken out?
No,
people just couldn't, just be insane.
So wait a minute, how did a truck on fire cause it to collapse? I don't get it.
So the fire just destroys the integrity of the concrete and the steel, and it just isn't strong enough to hold the weight anymore.
It was a big fire.
I didn't know
it was basically just right underneath it, like a fire, just like a little stove underneath, just cooking it.
It wasn't a bonfire, David.
I didn't know that a fire could do that to concrete. I did not know that.
When I heard that, it didn't make any sense, but I get it.
Wow. I'm sorry. That is crazy. Yeah, because you guys weren't here, but in the 90s when we had our earthquake, part of the 405 collapsed. Yeah. And it was bad. It was annoying. It was so annoying.
Were you annoyed by that?
I was very annoyed by that. All right, I can tell quick news about my South Dakota trip. The big news that I thought was shocking. Have you guys been to Mount Rushmore?
Yes.
I have not.
I was shocked that it's so much cooler than I ever thought it would be, because I thought I'd go like, oh, there's Mount Rushmore. But when you see it, it's actually really cool. And it's really, the pictures don't show how crisp and clean and what a sculptural piece of art it is until you're standing under it and you're like, wow. And they did such a good job of building an observation deck for it and everything. And I was like, wow, this is really fucking cool. But one of the coolest things, the funniest things, is they have a little gift shop and they have an ice cream shop and everything. I think we're seeing them here now too, though, but I didn't see them until I got back. They have big signs with a gun and a line through it saying no guns. So I guess in South Dakota, you have to tell people. And then I start seeing them in town, doors with no, don't bring your guns inside, which
people try to pose for pictures holding their guns up.
I wish I had a gun so I could have done that. And the people are cooler than I thought in South Dakota. But I will say the food is not as good and they think it is. Like we went to a couple of foodie places that got really good reviews. And it was like, oh my God, this place had like truffle something nachos on lobster and just like something that sounded so good. I can't remember everything. And macaroni and cheese with, like all that bullshit that we all love, with just have, these crazy great ingredients. And it was like, oh, it was like truck food. Like, like
it's Midwest. That's all you're going to get.
It wasn't that great, but they thought it was great. But I was like, oh, okay.
It's really hard to come from the food mecca of the United States and be impressed anywhere else.
Is LA the food mecca?
I don't know. I think it is in a lot of ways.
LA or New York. I feel like the food game is elevated in so many cities at this point, and even non-cities.
It's true.
But it's just, you can have more amazing food in more places than ever.
I feel like New York, you get stuck in the like hoagies and pizza. Like you get great, like, don't get me wrong, there are fantastic James Beard award-winning restaurants there, like for sure. But I think that if your game is the like fresh, like kind of organic-y, healthy food, that like LA is the mecca for that.
I do tend to like my food fresh. But when I was in Philadelphia, you guys took me to places. Game On in Philadelphia, Game On, and even
Philly's got a great restaurant scene.
Yeah, and even oh my God, Urban Village is the best restaurant in America. And Christopher, I don't know if you guys know him, but Christopher Davis is the best chef in America. But even the hoagie places and stuff you guys took me to, Game On in Philadelphia, Game On.
Hey, you know me, I love a good hoagie.
No, totally. So, all right, that's my news report. Go to Mount Rushmore if you get the chance. It's not lame.
I'm surprised. I expected you to say that we had to cancel all 4 of them or something.
Well, they're pieces of shit, all 4 of them.
Okay.
That's the thing too. There is a lot of Americana because there's a little museum and stuff, and it's just total Americana bullshit. And oh my God, I do. Oh, this is good news. Wait, I have to tell this piece of news because this is the best news ever. It's so amazing. Okay, I'm talking to my mom about it. I'm like, and I'm shaking my head. She's like, "What, David?" And because it says about Jefferson and stuff, and it says about all of them, and like. It said something about Jefferson as being like, I don't know, the bastion of freedom and stuff like that. And I'm like, I forget what it said. He's the one who wrote All Men Are Created Equal. And it's like, he's the man who wrote All Men Are Created Equal while he had slaves and he had sex with the slaves. And my mom goes, but David, he treated his slaves really well. He treated them really good. We went to the museum, the Thomas Jefferson Museum, and the docent told us that he treated his slaves really well. And I'm like, well, first of all, A, how do they know? And B, like, how well can you treat a slave that you're having sex with and having a child with? That's non-consensual. And this is what my mom said. Well, the docent was black, so she told us that he was nice to his slaves. And I was like, oh, okay. Game on. And then later on, we were driving around and my mom's talking about, we were talking about TV shows and whatever we like, blah, blah. And she goes, oh, you know who I really like right now? You know who I really like? He's so cute. I just love him. I love seeing him. Do you know who Snoop Dogg is? And I'm like, yeah, Mom, how do you know who Snoop Dogg is? Oh, he's good friends with Martha Stewart and they're so adorable together. Oh, they're just so cute together. Oh,
That's
it's so funny.
How far the mighty have fallen. Poor Snoop.
I know my mom. Snoop Dogg has 80-year-old fans in the Midwest. All right, that's my news, and I'm sticking to it.
Awesome. Well, David, I'm anxious to hear about your story with the Scientology stuff.
Oh, shoot, we're not doing the gold star?
Okay. I was going to wait to the end, but that's fine.
All right, shh. We have to have reverence. Our gold star today goes out to all the Jane Does, whether they be men or women, who have the courage to come forward and tell their story. And Aaron and Nathan told me not to say that we should stop white women from coming forward and lying about black men. So I'm not going to say that part, just that all Jane Does, we respect you and we want to give a safe space for you to come forward and tell your story.
I was going to say how woke you were until you kept talking.
Tell you what I said, we give a safe space for them to come forward. Yeah. All right, let's get into it. Are you fuckers ready to get into it? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Should I not say fucker with the kid on your lap?
Oh, there's a baby? Oops. Yeah, forgot he was there.
God, where'd that baby come from? All right, if you're not watching the video, you're not getting the whole story. Okay. So on Monday, May 29th, that was Labor Day or Memorial Day. I was hanging out with fam. It was on fire, and we were eating and stuff. And I'm just relaxed. And you know, after you eat, and you're all like laying there on the couch, feeling like a slob.
I'm familiar.
So all of a sudden, ring! I get a text on my text machine, and I'm like, "What? Who's texting me? What? And it says, my name is Yashar Ali, and I'm a reporter who mostly focuses on misconduct and Scientology abuses. And I'm like, what? And he goes on to say, I wrote a series of stories that led to Danny Masterson getting fired from Netflix. I'm on a deadline story. Can we chat tomorrow? Ooh. And I was just like, and it was, I can't tell you how, what's the word, disconcerting it was, because I haven't talked about Scientology in a long time. I only have one ex-Scientologist in my life. Well, 2 actually now, but I don't talk to them regularly ever. And it was just like, what? And it took me a minute to get my mind straight, to be like, because the first thought when you're in a cult is, oh no, I'm in trouble. They found me. If I say anything, the cult is going to get me.
Right.
That's the first thought that enters your mind. Like, I better report this. Uplines. That's Scientology for like the whatever. So then I immediately wrote back, sure, let's talk tomorrow. So he calls me the next day, and I'm proud to say I sang like a songbird. I ratted everyone out. I told everything I knew, like the most sensitive, the things I didn't even remember knowing, like just about everybody. His main focus, he's going for the people who helped Danny Masterson, who supported Danny Masterson and turned their backs on. Because I don't know if you know this, the 3 Jane Does that he raped were all mutual friends of everybody else's, including all the Scientology celebrities. Okay. So he's going after all the celebrities surrounding. And I don't know when this article comes out, but I will be reporting that.
Will they name you?
I told him he could if he wanted to.
Yeah.
The first one he's going after is Juliette Lewis. And he contacted her to say, hey, I want to know what you know about this, that you supported Danny Masterson, blah, 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 blah.
Who is that?
And
she, know who that is?
Wait, what?
Okay, I didn't know who that was.
Okay, that's what I said. Because he said Juliette Lewis is the most famous one directly involved with this. Because other celebrities were like Kirstie Alley and Lisa Marie Presley, but what are you going to do? Right. So and I said that, I go, Juliette Lewis is still famous? Like, I always have to explain who she is. She was nominated for an Oscar. She was in a Robert De Niro movie and nominated for an Oscar, but then she kind of like fell out.
Was that Cape Fear?
Cape Fear, yeah. She kind of fell out because she's just a character actress because she can only do one thing. She can only be the ditzy kook, and that's it. She can't be anything else. And that she got an Oscar nomination for that. It's like, oh my God, she's so great as a ditzy kook. Well, that's what she is. She's just
also in Natural Born Killers, which was a phenom film when it came out.
Yeah, and she was a ditzy kook in that too. Like that's all she ever is.
I know who she is. She's pretty famous.
Yeah, she's famous.
Is she? Okay.
She dated Brad Pitt.
She dated Brad Pitt. She dated Brad Pitt, and she was famous before he was.
Yes.
But then, okay. So I'm talking to this guy, and come to find out, is there fussing and mussing over there?
Keep going, David.
Don't stop. Don't stop.
All right. So I'm talking to this guy, and you non-Scientologists don't know this, but the entire let's parallel it to Bill Cosby. You know, the whole Bill Cosby thing started coming to a head when there's a comedian, Hannibal Lecter, I forget his name, Hannibal something, started making jokes about it. Hannibal Buress, yeah, started making jokes about him raping women. And then it just caught fire, and that's where it all started. Like, people weren't doing anything about it, and they weren't listening to the victims, and then it just caught fire. In this case, one of the Jane Doe's mother wrote a report of things that shouldn't be reports. Okay, nobody knew anything. Well, at least I didn't. There were actually the people around Dan Masterson knew what was going on, and they chose not.
Can I just clarify that the women that he raped were Scientologists?
They were two of them were Scientologists already, and one of them was his girlfriend. He got into Scientology.
Okay.
So yes, and they were mutual friends of everyone's.
So one other who wrote this report, is she a Scientologist, and is that a report that she sends up the line to Scientology people?
Yes, it's the Jane Doe's mother that wrote the report, and she's a massive Scientologist. She's like a huge donor. She's high up on the bridge. She's very well respected in the community and all this stuff. So she writes a things that shouldn't be report, which is like we've talked about this before. In Scientology, there's something called a knowledge report about crimes. Things that shouldn't be are just things that maybe should be looked into and dealt with. So it's not as serious. So it's a things that shouldn't be report. And in it, she describes all these crazy things that are going on, plus that Danny Masterson raped her daughter. That's the match that lights the fire. I'm in it. My name is mentioned in it. This report.
Have you seen the report?
Why are you in it?
No, I can't get my hands on it. No, nobody can get there. Well, because he told me he has seen it. One of the Jane Does had it and gave it to him. I want to get it. I'm supposed to talk to one of the Jane Does. Well, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Are they Jane Does, or do we know who the victims are?
The Scientology's outed some of them. and one of them is fine with having her name said, but I'm not going. Well, someone said she's fine with having her name being talked about. I'm not going to say it until she tells me herself she wants her name put out there, because you'll find out why.
Can we pause for 1 second and just like, what happened? So Danny Masterson was convicted. What's the status of the case right now?
He was convicted of raping 2 different women.
Okay, so he's waiting for sentencing, right?
Yeah, and there's a third woman who it was a hung jury on. They couldn't decide.
Okay, so that's where we're at in the case.
And these are
Yes.
regular courts, so they're not Scientology courts, right?
No, this is court. This is real LA court.
Okay.
And one of let's just fill everybody in on this. The first trial they had was a hung jury. And the reason why it was a hung jury is because Scientology had all these injunctions, and they got it so that the judge said that no talk of Scientology can happen in the trial, which is a huge miscarriage of justice, because what happened was when Danny Masterson raped these women, Scientology immediately circled the wagons and made these women out to be the people who committed the crime. And they made these women do ethics handlings and had everybody shun them and everything, and hid protected Danny Masterson. So in the second trial, the prosecutors were like, you can't do that because this is our case, that Danny Masterson was protected by these things. So in the second case, they allowed all of it. So they talked about what Scientology did, what all the different members of Scientology did to support Danny Masterson, and they got conviction. Bam, bam. It was unanimous on those 2 women. On the third, I read that it was only hung because she was his girlfriend at the time, and they didn't get it. They didn't understand, which I don't know. I didn't hear all the evidence, but whatever.
Okay, thanks for that update.
Okay. So anyway, so I'm in this report, and what happened was before anything was found out, after the incidents happened, before anything was found out, I was hanging out with Juliette Lewis's sister and Lisa Marie Presley's assistant. 2 women.
No, this was after.
No.
But before anything was revealed.
Okay.
This was.
What are we talking about?
This was about 2003-ish.
Oh, that's a long
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe 2004-ish. I'm hanging out with these 2 women. They're women who are really good friends, better friends with the Jane Doe than with Danny Masterson. Okay? We all went to Jane Doe's wedding. It's like that. So, and they went on trips together and everything. So I'm hanging out with them. I'm at a point where I'm like, God, why do I have these women in my life? They're awful. And they start joking about the Jane Doe, and saying she's insane. And I'm like, I love her. What are you talking about? No, she's insane. Don't hang out with her anymore and don't talk to her anymore. And they're just saying all these awful things about her. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. And in my mind, it's funny because when I'm talking to this reporter, so many insane things have happened. Like, I just talk about them as if they're normal, but it's not normal. Like, hearing someone say, like, if I was hanging out with you guys and we had another friend, you guys would never be like, no, don't hang out with them. They're insane. Like, you guys have never done that. It would be a very weird thing. I'd be like, what's going on? It was so normal, me listening to these 2 awful girls, Juliette Lewis's sister and Lisa Marie Presley's old assistant, that they're just vilifying this girl. And I'm like, why? What's going on? Well, there's a report and we can't tell you about it. I'm in the report. And they're like, you have to be on president's lines. What's president's lines means president of CC, Celebrity International. Only celebrities are on that line. So I can't know about it, but they're telling me to stop hanging out with this girl, but I can't know why.
Okay.
It's just so stupid. And in my mind, I'm thinking, here we go again. Because these 2 girls have done that to each other even. Like, there's always fights. It's like junior high. So I'm thinking in my mind, like, I'm going to just talk to Jane Doe later on and find out what the hell's going on. And I'm like, okay, well, have a nice day. Bye, you guys. And I make the decision, I'm not hanging out with these girls anymore. It's too much. Unfortunately, I never see Jane Doe anymore because behind the scenes, they're shunning her. Scientology is pushing her out so she can't attend any kind of gatherings of other Scientologists.
You were still a Scientologist at this time?
I wasn't doing services anymore. And just after that, I was out. Like I was gone. I was done. So this is about 20 years ago. I was done. I wasn't doing any more services at that point. I wasn't hanging out with those people anymore. Nothing. It was done. So then it turns into a knowledge report, which is like reporting a crime to the police in Scientology. A knowledge report is actually, so this things that shouldn't be becomes a knowledge report, and then it just explodes. And then these girls who are Jane Does that are raped by Danny Masterson are made out to be super massive criminals, and they're completely separated out from all of the Scientologists. I heard that they had to even wash his car. Like they made these girls do amends because they said that he raped them. So they have to make it up to Danny Masterson and the Church of Scientology by making donations and paying for ethics services and all this stuff. Okay, and these girls are so beaten down that they're like, oh, okay, and they're raised in Scientology, so they're out of their damn minds. So finally, I'm so proud of her. This one Jane Doe that I was friends with, she's doing these ethics things and everything, and one day she's like, I can't do it anymore. Fuck you. She goes into the police and reports it. And then that's another just like atomic bomb. She's declared suppressive. No one can talk to her. Her mother won't talk to her. She has to move out of her house. She has no one in her life. And I haven't been able to talk to her. I asked her briefly. I said, what did you do, Jen? Where did you go? We were texting, and she just wrote, it was the darkest.
Did you just say her first name?
Wait, what?
Did you just say her name?
Jane Doe.
Oh, Jane. Okay.
Yeah, Jane Doe.
Oh, you slipped up.
So she just wrote 2003 to 2007 were the darkest days of my life. I need to find out where because she had no other friends outside of Scientology, and her family turned on her. Can you imagine getting raped and your parents are like, get out of our house. You have to leave our house with your baby. Get out. She had she not a baby. She had like a 6 or 7 year old daughter at the time. Get out of our house. Okay. Sorry, I'm all worked up. So the reason why my name was in it is because these two women who were telling me to stop talking to this girl then went to another. This is the way Scientologists work. They went to another girl and they said, go tell her that David Monster told you this. And they started telling people David Monster told you this because nobody's supposed to talk about it because it's a knowledge report that only celebrities should know about. So they're telling everyone, these girls, except for me, they're telling all these other girls, go tell that David Monster told you. So my name's in it because I'm the leak. I'm the leak who told everyone who shouldn't know. And it's me. And
is it true? That's true that you did? You told everyone that shouldn't know?
No, I was gone. I said, I don't know what's happening. I didn't know she was the Jane Doe until this blew up like 8 years ago or 5 years ago or whenever it was, when it was like, and then I didn't know that she was the Jane Doe that got raped by Danny Masterson until she messaged me about 5 or so years ago when all the trials started and everything. I didn't know it was her. I started hearing about the rapes about 8 years ago or something. I was like, oh my God. I didn't know any of that until that happened. I was gone. I was out of there. And unfortunately, and I apologize to Jane Doe that I should have reached out to her and been like, what's going on? Why are these girls so horrible to you? But like I said, it was so usual. I thought I would just see her again, but I just never did. I never saw any Scientologists really after that. I faded away. Where was I? So I'm in this report, and this is in court and everything. They have this report, and it's going around, and it's submitted with the documents and everything. No one tells me. I have no clue. And I'm surprised that I didn't get subpoenaed or called in or anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm surprised.
I think what happened was because Jane Doe told me that this other minor celebrity who you wouldn't even know told her that I'm the one who spilled the beans to everybody, told everybody, don't talk to Jen, which I never did that. Huh?
She was mad at you?
Well, she was savvy enough. She was out already at this point, and she was savvy enough to be like, did you do this? And And I was like, no, I don't even know. Wait, tell me what happened. And so she had to fill me in the whole thing, and I was just blown away. She was savvy enough, because that's what Scientologists do. They close in, they close ranks, and then they one person goes to another person and says, say this, and that person said it. And like, that's the way they do it. That's the way the church does it too. So anyways, these girls, let me gather my thoughts for a second. Do you have any questions at this point?
Not at this point.
Wow. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
The reporter called you, and you sang like a rat.
I sang like a fucking songbird. I told him everything, and I said, I will tell you everything. You ask me a question, I will answer it. There were so many weird revelations, because at the time I didn't realize this. Like, all these people were around, and all these people knew what were going on. It was, Danny Masterson, Juliette Lewis, Lisa Marie Presley, Leah Remini, Jason Lee, Michael Jackson, Nicolas Cage, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Michael Jackson was a Scientologist?
No, but he married Lisa Marie, and he was seeing her at the time. And those were weird times too. Like, I would like to write a book about that, because those are weird times. Like, we'd be at Lisa Marie's house, and then there'd be like a blackout. You can't go to Lisa Marie's house, and it'd be like, why? And then nobody knew why until after. It's like, oh, Michael Jackson was there for the weekend. It was like weird. It was like press blackout, and it was like, what? Like, anyways, so
time bomb here.
Yeah. So anyway, so I can't wait for the article to come out, because it just goes. Juliette Lewis.
Do you have any idea when that article will be released?
It's supposed to be any time now. Okay. Anytime. So I will on our socials. I'll drop it. I'll drop it like it's hot. But
wasn't there some news recently that, I don't know if it was the defense or the prosecution, released a whole bunch of information that shouldn't have been released? Yes, because Scientology has civil trials against it. So when you like when you have a trial, you have evidence, and the evidence has to go through the court before they can decide who gets what released to what. So it's confidential. So the Scientology lawyers took that evidence from this trial and gave it to the Church of Scientology for their other trials. Oh, wow. So those lawyers who did that are in serious trouble. We don't know what's going to happen with that. But that's the way Scientology works. When you say civil trials, who are they suing? Who's Scientology suing?
No. Everyone's suing Scientology at this point.
Oh, okay.
First of all, the three Jane Joes are suing Church of Scientology and Danny Masterson. There's so many. There's sex trafficking. There's more than one sex trafficking trials against Church of Scientology, and human trafficking. There's all kinds of, like, everybody's coming out of the woodwork to sue Scientology. David Miscavige has successfully, in his it's been about since 1985 he took over, something like that. From then till now, he has successfully avoided subpoena, and he finally got served on one of the trials, because he was like, they were like, he's not here. I don't know what to tell you. They would do this thing, and finally they went back to the court, and the judge issued a warrant saying, if he does not appear, we will send police out to get him.
Wow.
So he had to be subpoenaed, and he will have to. That trial hasn't happened yet, and I can't wait, because that's going to be big news when that happens, because everything about Scientology is going to come into that one.
That's fascinating.
So the article, when it comes out, will first be about Juliette Lewis, and I think he's going to go to all the different people. Juliette Lewis, and I've seen this in some of her statements on her media and everything, and when she's been asked questions about Scientology, is like, all Scientologists who are like fundamentalist Christians or like Trumpers, they lie about things. And one of the things she lied about, and one of the things Church of Scientology tried to say in this trial of the Jane Does, is they tried to say, we do not discourage anyone from reporting to the police, because that was one of the things, is like, why didn't these girls come forward? The church told them not to.
And it's not only a policy, it's not only like 5 different policies, it's in the ethics book of Scientology that it is a high crime for a Scientologist to report another Scientologist to authorities.
Okay.
L. Ron Hubbard straight out says that. And on every course and every auditing action, every service you do, you have to sign documents that release the church of all kinds of whatever, of all kinds of responsibility if anything goes wrong. And there's sections in it that say you cannot report this to any authorities outside of Scientology. If there's any problems, you have to come to the Church of Scientology. And it also says once reported to Church of Scientology, like it will go to Scientology arbitration and not to a court of law. That clause was overturned for this trial because they were saying like these Jane Does have to do arbitration within the church. And thank God a judge was like, this is rape. We're not going to turn that over to the Church of Scientology to figure out. We're doing this in a court of law, which was so awesome. And Scientology is trying to fight that, but they can't. But so Juliette Lewis is on the record saying, we don't tell anyone they can't report to police. That is such a lie that they say that. And she just looks like she's going to look like such an idiot when all this stuff comes out, because now that reporters like Yashar Ali and Tony Ortega are so knowledgeable about Scientology, they can tell when these people are lying. And that's what Scientologists do. And I hate to say this, Nathan, but Tom Cruise is on the record of these same lies. And I have to tell you, Tom Cruise and all the celebrities know about this trial and that this happened. And they know about the lies that Scientology has been spreading. So let's hope, like, that's one of the reasons Leah and other celebrities came out, is because they'd hear these lies. If Juliette Lewis and Tom Cruise and these other people stay in, they know that their church is lying, and they know that they're lying liars who lie, and then they cover up for a raping raper who rapes. I'm sorry to lay that on you, Nathan. Are you going to be able to sleep tonight?
Probably. Well, actually, no. I haven't slept very much in a long time.
There's going to be a lot of screaming and yelling.
Yeah.
All right. So I made a list of kind of insane things that came out during the conversation, if you want to hear them about Scientology, unless you have questions before we continue.
Any questions, Aaron?
No.
No questions. Do we know when he's going to be sentenced? Is that soon?
The sentencing is in August.
What's he facing potentially? Do you know?
On those 2 counts, and they don't know if they're going to go back on the 3rd rape, but on those 2 counts, it's upwards of 30 years in prison.
Oh, God.
And he's going to be 50 any minute now, so he's going to be like 80 when he gets out. But speculation is that he'll probably serve about 13 years.
Man.
And I didn't know this, but a lot of people are saying, like, even I saw a video from a sheriff, an ex-LA sheriff, and they're like, he's like, they don't like rapists in prison. Like, he's going to have a hard time. And I was like, really? Criminals don't like rapists? Like, I know they didn't like pedophiles, but rapists? Like, is that a thing? Like, because aren't there a lot of rapists in prison?
I don't know. I don't know.
So I don't wish this on anyone. And it's weird because my thoughts are like, he's a dick and he's an entitled fucking asshole. And I'm glad he's getting justice. But my way of thinking is like, I feel so sorry for him that he was made to be this way. Like, he had the parents and the Scientology group that turned out this entitled asshole that he is. And he did, like, when you're in Scientology, you get away with murder and rape. You get away with these things. And that's why he's such an egomaniacal asshole. Like, he's the one that flipped. Like, other people could have done these things, but he's the one that is such a piece of shit that he just went for it. All right. So do you want to hear these revelations? I had the weird things that came out while I was talking. All right. The very first trial, when the Jane Does are going in to testify for the very first time, a huge gang of Scientologists stood in the hallway waiting for them to come in. It was all Danny Masterson's gang. it was Juliette Lewis's sister. Oh, actually don't know if she was there. But Paige Dorian, Chris Masterson, like all the Mastersons are actors. They all stood there. Billy Baldwin, and other women who are Scientologists who were these Jane Doe's friends, stood in the hallway to stare them down. And at some point, one of them, Marissa Ribisi, I don't know if it was there or somewhere else, said, "You're a fucking liar." Like, stood there waiting for these rape victims to come in to stare them down. Women. Like, anyway, sorry. I understand these people. They're pieces of shit. But could you imagine? I guess you can. All right. One of the women who was Lisa Marie's assistant, Paige Dorian, had her 9-year-old son go to one of the Jane Doe's daughter, who was 7 years old, to tell her that your mother is a liar and Danny Masterson never raped her. Okay. And the way, weird. It's like fucking psychotic. And the way the woman found out is her daughter came to her and said, "Mom, what's rape?" This is Scientology in action. Oh, and the reason why he's going after Juliette Lewis is because she was really good friends with the Jane Doe. She would take her she was married at the time to this guy, Steve Barra, and she had her stepdaughter. She would take her over there all the time for weekends, and she'd go have dinner and drop her stepdaughter off and hang out. And then as soon as the Church of Scientology told her, she dumped this girl like that. And she's on the record and in social media saying, "I never did that. I'm my own person. Like, Church of Scientology doesn't tell me anything." It's like, well, you never talk to this girl ever again. Anyway, and that wasn't as big as I thought it would be, but it's still pretty shitty. Oh, and I was on a call. We did a three-way, actually. Three-way call. Don't say anything sexually funny. Don't. With Yashar, Leah, and the Jane Doe, we had a three-way call. And I was so happy that she's in good spirits. I mean, it happened 20 years ago. But she's been, since that time, 20 years ago, until now, 20 years, the Church of Scientology and Scientologists have been harassing her, going through her trash and following her, calling her a liar, like following her daughter. She gets pictures of her daughter from like PIs and stuff. And like, it's so creepy as fuck. And I was happy that she was in good spirits on this phone call. And she said, since the conviction, she's finally letting go of the fear, not of the rapist even. She's like, she has fear that she doesn't ever want to see him again, but she's letting go of the fear of seeing all these people that were her friends that have now turned on her. Like, she's 20. I mean, like, there's all these like things you don't even think of. To understand Scientology, and people like say, well, you're in a cult, like, they're too understanding of the Scientologists. And this is what I said to the reporter. The reporter even said, like, I understand you're in a cult and maybe we should, have more understanding for the people. And it's like, no, these people are in Scientology because they are sociopaths. They stay in. There are some people who stay in because they think there's a truth, but everyone who I've ever known who's not a sociopath comes out or turns on the Church of Scientology, says, no, there's never been a gun. Well, I mean, outside of, I don't know if there's been a gun on Gold Land Base with Sea Org members, but Scientologists who are not part of the Sea Org, there's never been a gun to their head saying, you go call this rapist, this girl who thinks she's got raped, a liar. Like, these people do these things because that's who they are.
Really?
Like,
you don't think that there's directives to bully them?
Yeah, they're told to do it, but I was told to do that. In fact, the Lisa Marie Presley's assistant, Paige Dorian, who turned on this other girl, came to me once and told me, I had a friend that went to work at Lisa Marie Presley's estate, and years before he went to work there, Paige would tell me, we're having mold problem. We have to like tear down these walls because we have a mold problem. Okay, he went to work there, And then he was fired like 3 months later. And she's like, you can't talk to him anymore because he is really bad at his job. And now we have a mold problem. I'm like, Paige, you had a mold problem from before. And it's like, no, it's his fault. And you have to stop talking to him. And if you don't, you're in trouble with the president's office at CC. And I said, you know what? You can shove it up your ass. And she's like, you won't have access to Lisa Marie anymore. Like, she will not talk to you. And I'm like, so be it, bitch. Like, yeah, there are directives. I was directed to do that, but I said, suck my dick. Oh, sorry. I shouldn't say that with a baby. Sorry. Yes, they're directed to do these things, but you don't have, like, who's your, like, think of your best friends in the world. Both of you guys, think of your best friends in the world right now.
Got it.
Okay, they're raped. That person has been raped.
I don't like this game.
Raped by another person. By another person. You weren't there, you don't know, but this person told you they were raped. They're your best friend, so you're going to tend to believe them. Okay, who's going to come along and tell you guys you can't talk to that person anymore? They're liars.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my point.
I can't imagine that.
All right, and then there's there's a lot more things, but I could see that we should probably start wrapping up.
Sorry. I've been trying to get him back to sleep. It's not working.
One of the things I recall talking to the reporter is Paige Dorian, Lisa Marie Presley's assistant, once called me, and I laughed and I thought this was funny, but he was horrified. And this is of special interest to Aaron and Nathan, both. I know you guys are enthusiasts of this kind of behavior. So you let me know what you guys think. She called me once and she was eating. And I'm like, I can't understand you eating. She's like, I know, I'm so hungry. I'm eating pizza. Like I got a pizza box on my lap. Nathan's interested already. And then I hear her husband yelling at her, what the hell's wrong with you? And she starts laughing like a mental patient, just out of control, laughing and still eating and laughing. And I finally got it out of her. Like, what the hell is going on? And she's like, my husband is yelling at me. He thinks I'm disgusting because I called you. I'm taking a dump on the toilet with a pizza box on my lap eating pizza. Now, he thought that was horribly disgusting, the reporter. Aaron, you're a poop enthusiast.
My kind of girl.
Have you ever done that? What?
You love pooping?
Have I ever eaten while pooping?
Yeah.
Probably. I can't remember
On the toilet?
a particular instance, but
Nathan, have you ever sat on the toilet with a pizza box on your lap pooping and eating?
No.
I haven't done a pizza box on the lap. No.
I don't want to eat while I'm pooping. I want to poop and
tray.
do that. It's a tray. Your lap is a tray. I want to poop, do that, clean myself up, open a window, and then leave and then go eat. I don't want to eat in the bathroom. I've never wanted to eat in the bathroom.
It would be hard. Like, how do you'd have to have a table to put the food on so you can then wash your hands.
But it's also, I don't want to smell pizza while I'm smelling poop. I just don't. Call me crazy. Call me crazy.
I mean, my poop doesn't usually smell that bad, so.
It doesn't smell that bad, but I just don't want those two smells. Nathan, do you want to think about poop when you're thinking about pizza?
I'm having a hard time with this conversation right now. So the answer is no.
Thank you. All right. So Aaron is the outlier here. All right. So there's a million more things.
What did that have to do with Danny Masterson?
Well, because she was part of the whole thing. She's one of the girls who knew Jane Doe and Danny Masterson, turned on Danny Masterson. But this just came up like while we were talking, and it was just a memory I hadn't thought about for like 20 years. That came up.
Do you think you'll have to be involved in any of these cases at any point, since your name is kind of front and center?
Do you think they're going to subpoena the husband to verify that this woman was pooping and eating pizza at the same time?
That would be hysterical. I would love that. That would be awesome if that was the trial. She would admit it though. She did one other thing that was the funniest thing I've ever heard on the phone. She called me once and she's like, oh my God. She was on a diet. She went to this diet doctor and she had very specific things she could eat. And one of the places she could eat was Baja Fresh because they had certain ingredients. And she had to, I heard her, she was standing there and she was telling a person, okay, you put this in it and you put that in it. And you put this in it and you put that in it. And do not put chips in the bag. I cannot have chips. I can't eat chips. And she was getting food for Lisa Marie too. And directing the whole time. Da, 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 da. So she's like, oh my God, we're talking. Da, 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 da. And then she gets in the car and she just at the top of her lungs goes, fuck, what the fuck is wrong with them? I can't have chips. They put chips in the bag. And then I hear her start the engine and drive. And she's screaming. She's leaning out her window screaming, I can't fucking eat chips. Crunch. I can't eat chips. Crunch, crunch. Why did you put chips in the bag? And I'm like, throw the chips out. She's like, I can't. And she ate all the chips while she's driving home to take the food home.
Unhinged, David.
She is totally unhinged, but it's hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
She is. She's a complete asshole.
Yeah.
She's 100% complete asshole. And all these girls, it's funny because it's men doing the raping and women doing the covering up. It's bizarre. Like, just wrap your head around that for a minute. Not one woman that this woman was friends with, not one of them, and two of them know it happened. Two of them know it happened. Not one of them stood by this woman. They all turned on her and supported Danny Masterson in the Church of Scientology.
The fear of being kicked out of the church is probably strong enough where you have to disconnect from your life and your family and your friends.
But that's no excuse. That is not an excuse. You've got to stop excusing Scientologists. You've got to stop it.
I'm not excusing it. I just I understand why they wouldn't speak up or they would act like that.
I don't think it's as much a fear of the Church of Scientology as it's a fear of the loss of power. Like, all these people have pathetic little hierarchies of power within the church. And because they know that Scientology doesn't work because they're psychopaths. And I've seen them over the years complain. No, they complain about certain problems in their life. And then they do these services and the problems don't go away. But then they say, like, I did this and like my problem went away. And it's like, what are you talking about, bitch? Like this, and this happened. How dare you? And I get written up for it. Like, how dare you criticize my life and my wins in Scientology? That's the way a cult works, though, is because the problems don't go away. But this is the way Scientology works. The problems never go away. They just bring the person up to a point of narcissism, like Donald Trump, to be like, what? I don't have that problem. Like, they bring them it's bizarre. And just stop. We've got to stop excusing, like, that they're cult members. There is a certain amount of culpability. You can have that story for a little while. But no, someone like Tom Cruise, even Leah Remini is calling out other Scientology celebrities. And there's one, Laura Prepon, that came out, and Laura Prepon will not talk about Scientology. And Leah Remini called her out. This happened this last week. And she's like, do I respect her for being afraid to talk about Scientology? No, I do not. Because she did this, and this in the Church of Scientology. And I kind of like, this is another thing I want to talk about before we end up. She's like, Leah Remini stated the thing she did when she was in Scientology. I did this, and this, and I forever am trying to make amends for that. And Laura needs to too. And I'm like, go Leah. I talked to Yashar, and he brought up Leah. And I go, can we talk about Leah for 1 minute? And I said, I don't know if you know this, but I knew her in Church of Scientology. She was a Scientology mean girl. Like, she was a giant, colossal bitch. And he starts laughing and he goes, I've talked to at least 20 other people, and these are his words, that said she was a fucking cunt in Scientology. She was the biggest cunt of them all. And I go, so, because he talks to her now, like he hangs out with her and stuff. And I'm like, so what do you think now? And he goes, I love her. She saved my life. Because when he started reporting about
a Scientologist.
No, Yashar Ali was never a Scientologist.
Oh, he wasn't. Okay.
He's just a reporter. But he's like, she saved my life because when I started reporting, they came after me and she taught me stuff. And he said she knows she was an asshole. And part of why she's on a crusade now is she figures it's penance. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. That's awesome. Take your assholeness and direct it in a productive way. And I'm all for that. That is really cool. And I was like, my whole perspective on her changed because I was kind of bittersweet about her. But when I saw that video of her like on CBS or something saying like, I did this, this, and this. And she listed out some of the shitty things she did. And it's like, that's awesome. You go, girl. Call out all the Scientologists. Call them all out. Anything else? Was that good enough?
Well, your article, when your article comes out, can you share it?
Yeah, I will absolutely share it. And we'll see. We might have to do another podcast because I forgot. There were so many things said. I forgot what I said, and he might quote me, and it might be crunk. Okay, it might be crunk up in here. There is one thing I wanna. Yeah. Well, he said, do you want to read it before and I said, yes. Can I please read it before it goes out? Because I do remember there's one other person who was peripherally friends with Danny Masterson that I told him about his sexual craziness too. And I named the guy and everything, like who didn't have anything directly to do with Danny Masterson, but I was like, why did I do that? And I think I did it to show the atmosphere of crazy sexuality. Go ahead. What?
Do you have any worry that Scientology is going to come after you now?
Yeah, they'll do something, I'm sure. There will be something. Sure.
But you're not worried about it.
No. They'll probably be, I probably have had a private investigator follow me at some point or look at me at some point. I'm sure of that. Because knowing that I was in this stupid report, but they obviously saw it was a dead end, so they stopped. But maybe again they will, or something. Sure, something will happen. I don't know what. Am I worried? No. Am I stupid not to be worried? Probably. I just don't know what they could do. Oh, that's all.
Yeah, I don't either. I would just watch your back.
And watch your front.
Yeah.
And your
I
front.
mean, okay.
And your
I mean,
bottom.
okay.
Yeah, especially
You think they'll fuck me in the ass?
Definitely watch your bottom.
Do you think they'll Danny Masterson me?
They'll probably hand you a pizza and then fuck your bottom.
Oh.
They'll Danny Masterson me on the toilet.
Oh, God. What a weird way to end this episode.
I'm sorry. Do you want to say something better than that? I'm just happy that there's some justice because I started. It's also. I just want to say one more thing. It's also that's my catchphrase on the podcast. Just if you didn't know, it's weird. Like it's weird because I knew Danny Masterson. And it wasn't me 100% because he was nice to me, but he's so full of shit. Like I knew he was full of shit. He was nice to me, but then I found out that he said so many shitty things behind my back that I wasn't fully like, yeah, I want to see this guy go to prison and get reamed. I was just like, I want justice for these women. I mean, there are times when I do want him to get raped in prison, which is a ridiculous thing. And I don't really want that. I don't want anything bad to happen to anyone. But I do want justice, and I do feel better when I found out that she was like, this is the first time I'm not afraid in 20 years to see these people. It's like, yeah, like this is what happens when you not only violate someone physically, you take away their entire world, which is not only Scientology's fault, it's her mother and father's fault too, and all of her friends' fault. But that she's given back some of this is a good thing. And this is why is
she going to get money?
Well, they're in a civil trial too. I'm assuming because he's convicted, but there's reports that he doesn't have any more money left.
She could sue Scientology, right?
I hope that happens. I don't know. They haven't revealed any of that yet. I really hope that happens. Scientology needs to be sued, and it will be great because there's so many more things that they're worse than this. Even I know this sounds horrible, but they're worse than this that don't involve celebrities that no one's ever heard of that Scientology's covered up. So if this happens, if they're able to sue Scientology and win, it will be such a great door that opens. And hopefully we all want David Miscavige to go to prison because he is I believe, I don't have any personal evidence. Oh, is he pro David Miscavige?
Maybe.
Oh no, Unky the monkey. All right. Well, that's a super awesome neat thing. You have a baby.
We do. It's
And
super
he's
awesome
cute.
and neat sometimes.
Little vinyl. Oh, sometimes it's not super awesome and neat.
Well, we're trying to have a podcast with you. We can't even get an hour.
Maybe you guys can confirm this. I'm going to talk really loud. Maybe you guys can confirm this.
All right, tell me what to do.
I just my help.
I have a question about something that's super awesome, neat, and cool stuff. Mothers have told me and fathers have told me the most wonderful feeling in the world is lying down with your baby. The baby falls asleep on top of you, and you fall asleep on your baby, and then you wake up with your baby in a nap. Is that one of the most wonderful things in the world?
I mean,
You're not supposed to do that.
You're not supposed to do that?
It's
What?
technically considered unsafe sleep.
Wait, why? What?
Because it could head could be smothered in your armpit, or you could fall over, or you can fall off the couch, or.
So you guys have never slept with your baby?
I'm sure we've dozed. I'm just saying, the modern parenting would look down on you.
Oh no! But can't you sit in a chair or something and sleep with your baby? Because
You're not
it's supposed to be.
sleep with a baby, ever. And if you tell people you do, you'll be judged.
Oh my god! Because I heard that it's the most wonderful. Well, has it ever happened accidentally to you? And is it wonderful?
I will share the bed with him for half the night, so I'm breaking all the rules.
But haven't you ever had him suck your tit and then you fall asleep while he's sucking your tit?
I guess I don't really let myself do that when we're on the couch.
But what about in bed? Don't you do it
In
in
bed
bed?
all the time. Yeah.
And is that wonderful? Is anything wonderful? Anything?
No, it's just 3 a.m. and you want to die because you don't want to be awake. So it's wonderful in some ways.
Is there anything wonderful about? Can you do anything anymore with a baby, or is everything off limits?
It is. Everything's a lot harder right now because it's just around the clock care of this guy. He's got no schedule, and you can't predict anything. And he's becoming more and more aware, and he's incapable of lifting his own head. So he's I think he gets frustrated in certain positions, and you got to try to figure out what he wants. So it's hard.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I had to duck away. I had to bring out the big guns.
The big boobalas, the booba von boobalas. Are you happy being pregnant because your boobs are huge now, or do you not care?
I don't really care.
Oh, that's so unwomanly. I'm sorry. Okay, is there?
Be interested to hear the follow-ups to this stuff, and when the article comes out, you'll share it with everyone.
Yeah, definitely. Was any of this interesting at all? Because we don't even have to post this if it's not.
No, we're posting it. Oh, we're posting
yeah.
it. Yeah.
What did Nathan say? What?
He's wondering if we're still recording.
Yeah, we're still recording. Okay, I guess. Do you want to say your goodbyes? Do your wrap up.
Okay, everybody. Thanks for listening to our podcast, and we will be back at some point. We don't know when. It's unpredictable, but we'll be back, and we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and we do post regularly. So follow us and join along. And
for some reason, Aaron and Nathan are prejudiced against our Twitter account. We do have a Twitter also. I don't know why they.
We do.
We do. I post on it.
Really?
I post on it, and I got 1 follower. So we went viral, and you guys don't even care.
Real 9 was.
All right.
Real 9 Productions. Right. Twitter got hacked. So that's the one I was thinking of.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. That's terrible. Yeah, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, we don't care because we don't post.
All right. Say goodbye, Nathan.
Oh, look who's happy now.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. You don't have to go home, but you got to beat it, bitch.